Curriculum for Wales is asking the teaching profession to think differently about curriculum design, moving from a model of lesson planning and delivery to a more sophisticated approach to designing learning with purpose. The 4 purposes are the shared vision and aspiration for every child and young person in Wales. A school's curriculum is everything a learner experiences in pursuit of the 4 purposes. It is not simply what we teach, but how we teach it, and crucially, why we teach it. Understanding by Design is a curriculum and assessment design framework widely used throughout the world, with a focus on teaching for understanding and transfer via a backward design process. So, what did we set out to do? Provide access to a method of design thinking and the principles of backward design to support participants' thinking when approaching curriculum design. Provide an opportunity to develop a unit plan that can be used and evaluated in schools and settings with the support of author Jay McTighe. Provide dedicated time for professional dialogue and sense-making of an approach to design. Provide an opportunity to identify the benefits and drawbacks of such an approach within the context of Curriculum for Wales. What did we learn?
A really useful template to think about planning because it helps teachers to consider what we really want learners to understand and how this understanding will support the 4 purposes.
Feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. Schools have seen the principles of backward design valuable to support planning with purpose. It is successfully taking practitioners away from tasks and activities driving learning.
It has really made me evaluate my planning.
I have found it useful to see a framework that could be used to support curriculum design.
It has made me consider true curriculum design as opposed to the pure logistics of curriculum scheduling. It has affirmed my belief that curriculum design should be at the heart of all that we do and that it underpins every pedagogical decision that we make.
A key learning point has been the inclusion of 2 practitioners per school within the pilot, enabling collaboration within and across schools.
Unpicking the conversations we were having with other practitioners as part of the pilot was incredibly useful, looking at the areas where we were in agreement, but more so the areas where our opinions differed. It deepened our understanding of what we truly wanted from the UBD framework and what we wanted to avoid when sharing with staff.
It was very useful to link with other schools and gain a clearer, deeper understanding of curriculum design.
The use of the Asynchronous Institute has been very popular, enabling practitioners to develop their understanding at their own pace.
The self-study was good to work at your own pace.
The thinking is challenging, but practitioners are positive about this being a worthwhile challenge and beneficial to understanding purpose within the context of Curriculum for Wales.
We will incorporate UBD into our planning and do this in small, manageable steps that will improve what is introduced to our pupils and staff alike.
Outstanding in terms of giving us very useful practical tools for leading our latest curriculum iteration with our colleagues.
The pilot demonstrated that schools cannot simply pick this up as a product, and we have tried to mitigate this via the outputs within this playlist. It requires practitioners and school leaders to assess the value of this approach within their own context and school improvement priorities.
Being involved in the pilot has provided a greater insight into a backward approach to curriculum design. It has highlighted clearly the distinction between knowing and understanding. However, I feel that many of the examples provided were focused on developing knowledge, content, whereas Curriculum for Wales requires us to also consider values, attitudes, skills, and processes as well as knowledge, content to realise the 4 purposes.
I believe it simplifies many complex processes.
Direct translations into Welsh of the conceptual thinking behind UBD is a challenge in some areas. Welsh language practitioners are keen to support this further, and we have mitigated via access to both English and Welsh for these participants throughout the pilot.
The use of ready-made examples and further guidance, particularly through the medium of Welsh, has been excellent. We will continue to update our guidance and support documents following this pilot for our context.
Overall, this pilot project has provided many opportunities to develop our thinking around curriculum design within the context of Curriculum for Wales. Thank you to all participants from schools and settings across Wales, from our regional and local authority partners, and our higher education colleagues responsible for initial teacher training. We will continue to co-construct approaches to curriculum design that help inform our collective understanding in realising Curriculum for Wales.